Again, and we're going to show you how to take those forms that we just learned how to fill out and navigate around, and we're going to put them into our transaction kit. So we're going to pretend all these forms have been filled in, or at least the forms we wanted to use have been filled in. Then we're going to go up to, again, another orange button, and we're going to press that. It says Save PDF to Transaction. So what it's doing is saving the forms that we just finished filling in and putting them into our transaction. But we're going to have an info box pop up between the two steps. And this box is reminding us that we're working for Tommy Test and we're doing a listing. And down here are all those forms that were on the left-hand info box when we first went into our add a form or launch forms. So this is where we're going to choose which forms we want to move over. We're not going to move them all over because we don't need them all right now. So I've filled out my seller's directions, so I want that. I don't need an amendment. I don't need my suspension or my cancellation. I do need working with a realtor, and I do need one FinTrack identification. Once I've chosen which forms I want to move over, I can hit Save to PDF. If I'm really fancy and I'm in a hurry, I could hit Save and go to electronic signature. But for this example, we're just going to save to PDF. Now, if I was in a real hurry and I had just clicked on the forms and chose which transaction kit I wanted, filled everything in, I can now choose which client it's going to go in and which transaction for that client. So you can do it a couple of different ways. The way I'm showing you is basically the left to right version. And but you may find you like to do it a little bit differently, and it can be done that way. So I've chosen my forms. I'm now going to add these to my transaction for Tommy Test. This part takes a few minutes for all the forms to transfer over, but it's not that long. It also depends on your internet. And mine obviously is a little slower. Okay, there we go. So now I'm back to my home page. I'm still in Tommy Test, which is my seller. I am still in the Storm Street listing transaction. And there are my forms. So at this point in time, I can be ready to use these forms, and I would be able to e-sign them, send them by email, and I could also print them. I'm going to show you that in a few minutes, but if something happened and I was viewing this form because I wanted to preview it before I sent it off to make sure I did everything right, and I noticed I missed the identification of the lot size code, so I forgot to check that off, I could go right back into those forms and add that check mark that I had forgotten. You can't go through the PDF version of it because PDFs are not fillable. But you can go down to where it says Editable Forms, click on View, and it's going to take you right back into your forms where you can correct that error that you've made. And we're going to go down to that data information sheet. And we're going to click the lot size identification code that I forgot to do. And I'm going to hit Save. If there was other corrections that need to be made, you could have done it. I'm only going to save the data information sheet because that's the only one I changed. And I'm going to save it. Now it's going to put the new data information sheet into my transaction kit. Again, a couple minutes, there we go. So there's the first version, and the next version is on top of that. Good way to remember this system. Any form that you add, the newest one is at the top. You can see that this is a second version or a first copy. If I don't want to see the original one, I can go into View. Oh, sorry, wrong one. I can go into Info and I can archive that document by hitting the toggle, or I can actually delete it. Whatever you want to do, it's your choice. So I'm going to delete it so I don't get confused. And I've got one data sheet and all my other documents. So that's all I'm going to show you on this one. My next one will take you to ratify and email. I'm also going to when I do the ratify and email, I'm going to actually start one more time with the forms and show you how to fill in a Schedule A. Okay? Thanks for listening. See you on the next session.